Hello everyone and welcome back to another aka Dead by Daylight video. Today we have another lore video for you, the Ghostface. So we'd already been told about Ghostface, about how he was not part of the, classic Ghostface characters. He's not like Billy Loomis or anything. He is a new killer wearing the licensed mask. But we have now got his full backstory. So we knew he was a journalist, but let's dive into this backstory that he's got, this unique backstory, and learn a little bit more about the Ghostface. This one's a little bit of a different entry as well, it's worth noting. This one is written almost as if like a journalist report, so that's very cool as well. So, Danny Johnson, known as Jed Olsen by some, grabbed the newspaper from the kitchen counter. It was a week old, but his face was on the front page, grainy and sunken. It was one of those muggy afternoons in Florida when heat and humidity permeated everything in the kitchen, making him sweat while standing still. He slouched in a damp chair to read. This article had better be good. His work in Roseville had been outstanding. Ghostface disappears. June 18, 1993. At first glance, Jed Olsen was a modest and enthusiastic freelancer with experience in a variety of small newspapers. The staff at Roseville Gazette appreciated how easygoing and honest he seemed, and so he was treated as a stranger for no more than 5 minutes into his interview. Jed quickly spotted the editor-in-chief in the room, gave him a wide smile and a firm handshake, and talked about good old American values, and that was it. He was in, said ex-contributor at the Roseville Gazette. Olsen never justified his erratic career path, which zigzagged between several small towns from Utah to Pennsylvania. There was no verification of his previous jobs. He had a decent portfolio plus a good attitude, and they needed a contributor right away. The Roseville Murders. Olsen had been working at the newspaper for 5 months when the Roseville Murders began. Victims from young to old stabbed to death in their homes. From the reports, the victims seemed chosen at random, yet the killer knew his way around in the houses. The multiple stab wounds indicated a personal motive. No traces of DNA were found. The local police were confounded. The murders were carried with fury akin to a crime of passion, yet coldly premeditated. The murderer also liked to stalk his targets. 2 victims had reported being followed on their way home by a dark figure a few days prior to their death. The killer would follow them from Walleyes, a small bar in northern Roseville, and snap pictures of them at home while looking for a way in. He would watch the same victim for weeks, meticulously registering their habits and routines. When he felt the urge to kill, he'd visit the most vulnerable victim on his list and break inside the house quietly. The whole staff worked on the Roseville murder story. Olsen was often sent to interview the family of victims and relay official statements from the police. Unknown to everyone at the time, his involvement added to the final body count. The Ghostface. Panic swelled in Roseville when Olsen produced footage of a hooded figure breaking into a house at night. The masked face, a white blur in the dark, stared at the camera for a second before disappearing inside. Ghostface Caught on Tape was the resulting article, written by Olsen. He seemed proud of his work at the time, enjoying how the whole town feared his ghost stories. Weeks later, Olsen left a note on his work desk and disappeared. I hope you liked my stories. I enjoyed bringing them to life. Don't worry, I'm not done. The Roseville law enforcement still refuses to comment as Jed Olsen remains at large. Danny smiled, ripping out the article from the newspaper. When the investigation had been pointing to him, he'd packed his bags and left Roseville swiftly. He got up, the clammy seat pulling his skin. An oppressive humidity engulfed him as he entered the bedroom. Condensation dribbled on a small, misted-up window as bits of cracked wallpaper hung limply. Its floral pattern was covered with gruesome photos and newspaper headlines. Danny pinned the week-old article on top of a picture of lacerated scalps. A faint pang of hunger hit him, and he wondered when he had eaten last. Was it this morning while washing his knife and clothes, or was it last night after following that girl down the street? He couldn't remember clearly. Taking a step back, he admired his work on the wall. His mind drifted, remembering all the articles he'd written, the stories he'd planned, and the scenes he'd brought to life. A shiver ran through him. A chilling breeze transformed the bedroom's humidity into an opaque, freezing fog. A woman shrieked. Dead leaves crunched under his feet. He smiled in anticipation. So that is it for the backstory of Ghostface. So I think, yeah, we've got Dawson here to help me with this. Welcome.
Hello there. Yeah, it's interesting because it's kind of like bad Spider-Man.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, it really is like a bad Spider-Man. You know, he's a reporter who's writing his own stories of his own crimes,
and he's using his crimes to try and get his break, like with a Ghostface caught on tape. You know, he's filmed himself essentially, and then highlighted it.
We do have to question his motive here as well, because you know it says random victims, but premeditated. He probably is doing it for his own journalistic career and obviously his own sadistic nature as well. He just enjoys it. But being able to promote your own journalistic career is definitely appealing to him. I do like how it says in the newspaper article he had no verification of previous jobs, and he'd been zigzagging between several small towns from Utah to Pennsylvania, because you know that means he's been killing elsewhere, and the newspapers have caught on, or like the stories have started to snowball, and he's moved away. Damn, it's a good backstory, and I think he smiled in anticipation as the entity takes him.
Yes, so he's like excited to just be killing, which shows like his character in a way.
Yeah, it's very cool. Very cool.
I like how it's written as well. How the quotations and like all the paragraphs from the newspaper stuff.
Yeah, we've got a newspaper article basically, haven't we? In between, he's sat there, he's reading this paper, and then he's pinning it up on his wall and he's got what did it say? Lacerated scalps. He's got pictures of all the victims' heads.
By the end of it, he's running.
Yeah, he's running. He's moving. He's leaving Roseville onto his next town. But even though he probably doesn't know what's going on, he smiles in anticipation because I guess he knows. Very, very cool lore. I think that's... I know we say this every time, but I think that is a top quality lore there. And one of the first killers we've seen that actually also wants to be taken by the fog, is like a killer at heart, really.
Yeah, I mean, this one's quite similar to the Legion lore in the fact that, it's somewhat of a normal person that has like a second life.
Yeah.
I mean, the Legion, he was just defending someone, but with this one,
but they took it. Yeah, they took it further with the Legion, didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
They enjoyed the killings, and they were led to become the Legion. But yeah. Well, yeah, I think there's pretty much nothing else to say about this one. Fantastic backstory once again. We love what the Dead by Daylight creators are doing with these laws and this information about the characters. It's very cool. And yeah, I think that's it. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, this lore. Like if you did. Be sure to subscribe for more content like this. And yeah, we'll see you in the foreseeable future. Peace out.